Welcome to another episode of Unscripted with JJ and Jamie. On today's episode, JJ, we're going to talk a little bit about the Disney Earmark Summit that we just attended. And then we're going to take some questions from some friends from our Facebook page. So let's start out with, we just spent 3 days at the Contemporary at Walt Disney World attending the Disney Earmark Summit. And it was phenomenal, to say the least. So let's first explain to people what the Earmark Summit is. So it is Disney puts together. They have a
convention.
They have a convention where they invite some of the top agencies in the industry that sell the Disney product, and they take 3 days teaching us about the product, teaching us about business, sharing insights, future things to look forward to.
Yeah, you get a little bit of networking, you get a little bit of keynote speakers, marketing initiatives, and they give you a little bit about the direction that the company's going. So it's a pretty cool event.
So they had some pretty cool keynote speakers.
One of my favorite, I've read the book, Rise and Grind, Daymond John. I love what he's got to say.
Yes, and we had an opportunity to do a special meet and greet after he was done talking, and that was really cool. The Muppets, so Kermit, Miss Piggy, Animal, like they had so many of the Muppet characters there. They helped kind of MC the program.
That was pretty cool, having, Miss Piggy. Oh, she's a star.
Oh,
Miss
she's
Piggy's a star. Kermit's a star.
Yeah.
So having them come in between sets, was always fun. But I missed my photo op with the Muppets, but you got yours.
You did. You had another engagement, or you had a prior engagement that you had to sneak out about an hour before the end of that day. And so whenever I found out that I was going to get a private meet and greet with Kermit and Miss Piggy, I was so sad that you missed that. But I got a picture, so I didn't miss out on it.
And what do you say about the last keynote also?
He is the ultimate Disney fanatic.
John Stamos.
Yes.
What a cool guy.
He is.
Really cool. I mean, Disney is in his blood.
It is.
And it's been in his blood since he was a little child.
Yeah.
So getting to hear him share the stories, about, what Disney has meant to his life, over, 30, 35, 40 years, which he still looks like he's 35 years old. But yeah, just a real cool guy.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to have, because a lot of us that was in that, in attending the conference are Disney fanatics. We started businesses based around our love for Disney, and then it's expanded to other brands. But I would say for the most part, like most of us in the audience are Disney fanatics. So it's almost like a mini D23 for us. But I just love that he shared what Disney meant to him, and the evolution of him going to Disney as a child, and then when he became a star, and then a bigger star, and then even a bigger star. He's really a staple at a lot of the, anytime there's a new ship, anytime there's a new attraction, like he's usually there if he can be.
You think the guy bought the Disneyland sign and he has it in his home? Disney wants it back. They're trying to get it back. He owns a mega Disneyland sign.
Yeah. I think he said he got it on eBay for $30,000 or something.
It's crazy, but yeah, that's his love. Yeah. But what I thought was interesting, whether it was Daymond John, whether it was John Stamos, or whoever it was, the message was the same. Yeah. How they started, and they started with a dream.
Yeah.
It was a dream, was the way, the things that got them going, and we'll get into a little bit further. Where that dream took them, what that dream looked like. But, it all started with the dream, and now look at them.
And not giving up. I think Daymond John and John Stamos, both their stories were the same. Like there's a lot of failures with success. And I think that so many times we see the product, we see the not even the finished product, but we see what's out there, and it looks like so much success, but there's so much failure, so many times of getting knocked down, having to get back up. And both of their messages was very similar in that sense, which I think anybody that's successful, we all share that that common thread of it. People say overnight success. I mean, look at us. I mean, we're 30 years in real estate, 18 years at Magical Vacation Planner. You played 13 years professional basketball. That didn't start with your getting a professional contract. I mean, that was years of practice, years of
It started
prior,
with the book.
yeah,
Rising and grinding, making things happen, because a dream is nothing more than setting a goal and putting action to it.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
That is.
It's not the dream. You dream of something. You dream of wanting to be something, and then you stop and you don't do anything. No, the dream is, I've got this dream. Now let me put together a goal, a plan, and put some action behind it. That's how you achieve your dream. And I thought it was really good about how Daymond John, when he went to the so he wanted to start in clothing. But it was the concert, the Run DMC concert that he went to, and he saw everybody holding up these Adidas shoes. And that was the first time that it really resonated with him that, wow, everybody is wearing the same stuff, the same brand, So when he started thinking about his clothing and what he wanted to produce, he wanted to build a brand and have different items in his brand, but everybody wears his brand. And, just thinking about the way that he went about getting that done, when he finally started making traction, he had $500 in his pocket, and he was trying to look for a brand ambassador, somebody to represent his clothing. And there was a guy that was in his neighborhood that he thought he's going to go knock on his door. I mean, just talk about the guts.
Yeah.
What if he says no? What if he says, get away from here? I don't know you. I don't want anything to do.
What if he said no? Then you just move on.
You move on.
Off and you
okay.
find somebody
So
else.
he goes and he knocks on LL Cool J's door. We're talking about LL here.
Just thinking about
We're
it.
talking about LL.
Yeah.
And LL, was a young man, and what he had done, he said, I like people like you. I like people that are hungry, that are trying to do things and trying to make things happen. And at that time, LL didn't agree to work with Daymond or agree to represent his product. He gave him some other names. They went away. They tried to get them as brand ambassadors. But then they thought, man, this guy, LL, he's the right representative for our company. So they go back to him, and LL ends up representing their brand before he moves to California, and he starts in movies and things like that. That's how it happens.
It is.
They didn't let their dream die, even if they would have been told no. They got up every day. They purchased the fabric. They sewed. They found the brand ambassadors. They put the marketing plan together. And the next thing you know, they're FUBU.
Yeah.
They're FUBU, working out of hotels, taking orders even before they had the materials, So how were they going to do that? And to hear that Daymond John's mother decided to refinance her home and to take the money from her home and put that into her son's business to help him. And he knew that was all she had. He could not fail.
Failure was not an option.
It's not an option. So I think just hearing that whole entire story of rising and grinding in order to make your dreams come true. So
I think that goes with any career path, any entrepreneurship, any professional athlete, musicians, like actor. It goes along every aspect of life. If you're not rising and grinding every day, you can be successful, but you're not going to take it to that next level. And I think that you have to eat, live, breathe, and sleep what your passion is to really to get to that next level. I love that.
And I think the key thing that you said is every day.
Yes.
There's not a day that goes by that that doesn't mean you don't take a day here and there. but you don't let multiple days go past without you focusing on your business and where you're trying to go.
Well, I think if you ask anybody that has started a successful business or done so, like it's something you think of every day, even if you're on vacation. And that's a hard thing because like when, you hear all this, 10, 15 years ago, you hear all this work-life balance. Like I've got mixed feelings about the work-life balance motto just because you've got to figure it out, but also if you don't have the buy-in from your family, if your spouse, your kids, your parents, your relatives don't understand this, you can catch a lot of slack from people saying, oh, all you do is think about business, all you do is think about, and that's the give and take of sacrifices that come along with having a successful business, whether real estate, a travel agency, whatever it is. Another thing that I want to touch on is we got to at the Earmark Summit, we got to wake up. I think it was at 4:00 in the morning to start getting ready.
Yes.
And there were some grumbles in the audience, but I always know that when Disney says
there were some grumbles in the hotel. I was grumbling when your makeup person came to the door at 3:30. And I just did makeup.
And you're like, you guys are loud. I'm like, it's fine. If you get up at 3:30, what 3:34? Like, does it really matter? At that
exactly.
Point?
Especially after late night, we didn't get in until 11 p.m.
Yeah, and got to bed at like 12.
Yes.
So it was a short night. Let's call it a short night.
Yes.
But anytime Disney, our friends at the Disney Travel Trade say, we have an early morning, I know they have something special in store for us. So they load us up in the buses from the Contemporary and they take us over to Hollywood Studios. And there's just something magical about walking into the parks before the parks open.
Yes.
That's a pretty cool experience. So they had a group of people were supposed to dress in yellow. We had yellow.
We had yellow.
Yellow's not my color. Like it's not.
Yellow is definitely your color. Yes.
Yellow, and
you need
like,
to.
You look
yes.
good in yellow.
Because you're ray of sunshine. You need to wear more yellow.
I had nothing in yellow, so I went on Amazon and I bought like a yellow shirt for like $3.99.
Well, tell them the shirt you try to buy me.
Well, yeah, and you're like, that's not gonna work. And so you got a golf shirt.
I did.
So our color was yellow. Other people had blue. And some had red, but come to find out, it was the cast members that had red.
Yes.
So they're putting us in our position. And if you've seen our MVP from our conference was at our 2023 conference.
Yes.
When Disney does this, I know they have something really cool in store because in 2023 at our conference, they did a MVP with all of our agents. So I knew that it was going to be a group picture, but I wasn't sure what's blue, yellow, and red.
Yes.
And as they're putting us together, we figured out it's the ball from Toy Story.
Yes.
And when we got the picture, it is hard to find us, but it's just really cool to be something.
So you have the picture.
Something. Yeah. So we'll share.
You didn't share the picture with me yet.
I just saw it on the internet.
Okay.
So like, I think Sheila had posted it, and then Adelita shared it.
Okay.
And then I was like, "Where'd you get that?" And so then I started seeing it popping up everywhere. So,
gotcha.
And then they had sent me an email. I just hadn't checked my email yet, but I just saw it off of the internet myself.
But right in the back the back in the center.
Yeah, like we're kind of a part of the star, I think.
Yes.
And we're behind a red outline, which Steve Smith and Will from Disney, we were right by them.
Yes.
And but the outcome. So anytime that Disney says, "Hey, show up," a lot of times they don't tell us, so we have to blindly trust that what they're doing is going to be super cool.
Yeah.
And that was an example. So a lot of times in business, you have to trust your partners. And that would be an example of, you know what, we know it's going to be big. We know it's going to be cool. So we woke up and was a part of something really neat and really cool. So we'll share that with our audience, that picture.
Some of the other things that we are lucky to be a part of is when they share the direction of the company and the things that they're focusing on and where they're going to put their resources at over the next few years. And I think the number over the next 7 years is $60 billion into
that's a lot of billions.
And yes, exactly, into the theater, into cruises, into enhancements in the parks and attractions and all those things. And they went over a lot of those things, and for Disney to go from 5 ships to 13 ships. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing. The things that they're doing, as far as now, some of the characters are going to be a part of Fortnite.
Yeah.
I mean, these are unique things. So, being able to find people and touch people where they are, they
That's
know
business.
they know that the younger people are playing Fortnite, so why not go to them versus trying to take them away from Fortnite,
Right.
and to see their commercials or to be a part of their games, they're going to where the people are. And I think that's very, very smart as a business to find people where they are and to market to them that way.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I thought the conference was hands down. I keep calling it a conference. The
The
summit,
summit.
the Disney Earmark Summit, hands down was the best one to date. There were so many key takeaways, so many favorite moments. Um, what was your favorite? What was your favorite moment or your key takeaway? You can pick which one you like.
Again, I like the keynote speakers. I like the information, the analytical stuff, about the business. I like all of those things. But I think there was one thing that resonated with me that just the whole time throughout, each of the days. And that was sometimes, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we overthink things.
Always.
We overthink things. And even as mega corporations like Disney, even they overthink things. And they kept talking about going back to the basics. And I think that is, go back to those foundational pieces, those things that you did when you first was moving the needle within the business, and redo some of those things. Sometimes we think we got to make this thing so big.
We
We
overcomplicate things.
That's right. We overcomplicate things. So I think going back to the basics, I think that was the thing, the key takeaway for me.
I agree. Okay, I think this is a great segue. On our Facebook page, JJ and Jamie Eubanks, the real MVPs, we had some questions. So I normally don't have my phone here, but I wanted to make sure that I asked the right, like that I asked the questions the way they. No, I'm gonna have to find it, but the way that they were asked. And so I'm gonna pick a couple of people that I thought had really, really, really good questions. First, Susie Wiley asked, what are the key habits or mindset shifts you believe are essential for someone just starting out in business to become a successful entrepreneur, especially when facing challenges and setbacks?
Some of the key takeaways. I think weed through the noise. When you're starting a business, you're going to have people that are in your corner, that's rooting for you, that want you to do well. You're going to have some that don't want you to do well. And you're going to have to sift through all that noise to find, the right people that's going to encourage you to build your business. With that being said, some of the key pieces and the key things I think that you focus on is making sure that you understand and know your products well, making sure that you are networking with the right people, and you're hearing from successful people, people that have done this, people that have created, a business, and watch your time, very closely. Watch where you spend your time, making sure that the time that you spend on your business is focused time, not time that you gotta set aside time in order to grow your business.
I think you're 100% right there. And where you get your information, who you listen to, is so key. And we've talked about this. Why do our kids always listen to why would our kids listen to other people teach them about basketball when they had a professional basketball player in their house? Same as with business. People will ask people that's not successful, or people that, like, for example, somebody might ask somebody that doesn't own a house or doesn't, how do I buy a house, instead of asking somebody that has bought a house
Right.
and understands it just a little bit more. But I think that we want to get away, we have to get, sometimes we're our worst enemy, and use the tools. Just stop and watch and listen. Who do you want to get advice from, and where are you getting your advice from? But don't second doubt yourself. And sometimes the people you would think would support you the most actually aren't supporting you like you would think they would.
You know, I like to sit back at times and just scan the room and to see who's talking and the information that they're providing. But then I have the liberty to go and look at, you know, the numbers and things like that. So I can see, you know, number wise, okay, this person is saying these great things, but how well is their business really doing versus, you know, somebody else. So I can see some of that stuff.
So that's the funny or tricky part about us is sometimes the loudest people aren't, you know, because we can see the numbers. Like we always say numbers don't lie.
Correct.
And sometimes the loudest people in business aren't the most successful. And so I think it's hard figuring out because we want to trust everybody, you know, you want to, you know, but sometimes I've just found over the last 30 years, like when we listen to people that's been there and done it, have the receipts, those are the ones that actually contribute to helping us in navigating through new challenges.
Right, and not just numbers, it's activity.
Right.
You know, it's everything is not numbers, but it's the overall activity.
Correct. Okay, Amanda Brooks, not my cousin Amanda, but we have another Amanda Brooks in our life. What advice would you give someone who wants to take their business to the next level? Now, she's an MVP. She's a magical vacation planner, and she's been with us, I think, probably maybe 6-7 years. I could be off on that, but she's been with us a while. So she's probably at that stage now where it's like, okay, I've done everything, which there's never, you know, there's always a point where you could go back to the basics. But what advice would you give Amanda in taking her business to the next level? You know, we really don't have the data here in front of us, but what advice would you give Amanda?
I would say grind. Try something new. Don't be afraid of failure because it's really not failure. It's a learned opportunity. It's something else that you're learning. So maybe try a new product or try a new way to market yourself. You know, look at how much time you're putting into it. And I don't know how much time they're putting into it, but, you know, don't take any time off. Don't take any days off. You know, and I'm just going to say it's the grind, putting the action, all of the action in back of your dream and back of your business to make sure that you're doing everything possible to be able to get it to the next level.
Yeah, because I know that Amanda, she comes to conferences, she does the training, she goes on there's spam opportunities offered to her. So yeah, I think just going back and taking all those tools and refreshing and using the tools, our CRM system, using all these things, you know, to stay in contact with all the people that's trusted her this far. So that's great. So thank you, Amanda. Okay, on the last one, we'll finish up with Casey Firkenstad. Said she would like to hear more financial investing strategies from small business owners. Something about destination weddings, and she's actually at a conference right now where she's going to be taking some courses on destination wedding ideas. She would also like to know how to position yourself to be around other powerful and thoughtful minds. You never want to be the smartest person in the room, is what she closed with, which I agree. Like, I don't ever have a problem with that because I always seem to be in a room with really smart people. So that's never a problem for me.
Well, you know, that's funny. That's a great question, by the way. And that's exactly kind of what I was talking about when I say you don't want to be necessarily the loudest person in the room. You know, you sit back and you watch people. And I think it starts with networking and being around those that are running a successful business and identifying what those best practices are. In order to take your business to the next level. Not being afraid to be around successful people because success breeds success.
100%.
Okay? Always having a target out there. So somewhere that you're trying to go. So when I played basketball, okay, I wasn't always the best player. I wasn't the best player in the world. So I always had someone that I can look at that I wanted to model my game after or you know, a level that I wanted to get to. And with that, everything that I did, the way I practiced, the way I studied videotapes, the way I studied the stats, all of those things in order to get to the next level. I knew where I was trying to go. It is the same exact thing when it comes to business. You're looking at where your business is today, and you're taking leaps. You're taking steps toward getting to that next level. So identifying someone or something out there that you can benchmark to work towards. And that's where the goals come in. If you don't have a goal, then you can dream all you want. Right. You're not going to get there. If you don't have a goal, you don't have a plan, you don't have a strategy, to get there, then it's just a dream.
It is. One other question that Casey had was about finance. And I think that you and I are huge advocates for no credit card debt, try to get your house paid off, try to eliminate car payments, just so that gives you that financial freedom. Yep. Because a lot of times, especially as an entrepreneur, like if you're running your business based on I have to make this money, you make a lot different decisions. You do. You make, and we found that out during COVID, because we could make decisions not based on, hey, what kind of payments, since you played basketball, we've really tried to not live paycheck to paycheck. Because we saw a lot of people do that.
I think our audience out there will probably be surprised to learn. I don't know if we've said this in a previous podcast or not, but we lived on $1,000 a month.
We did. We said that on one of the first episodes that we had, because when you played basketball, we made the decision in the early stages of your professional career that your basketball salary wasn't going to last forever. Yeah. We were one injury away. Luckily you played 13 years. That's phenomenal. Yeah. 14, but that's okay. I'm sorry. Well, 13 with me.
Yeah, 13. There you go. That's why you remember 13.
Quick recovery.
Yes, there. Exactly. And I was never going to, and one of the reasons why only $1,000 a month, I was never going to not have a roof over my head. That was the decision. That was the decision that I made early on before I met you. Correct. That whatever I did, I would always have a roof over my head.
Yeah. So financial wise, I always say, try to set a plan, a goal. And a lot of people are like, if they get a 30-year loan, of course, to get a house, a lot of times you have to have a loan. That's understandable.
But timing's right.
It is. But set a plan. Don't buy a house and it's taking up, a half of your monthly income or something like that. Get a house that's maybe 1 week's salary or something. And then in entrepreneurship, you can make more money than what you're normally used to. Right. So get that paid off as soon as you can.
So let me share some of these things. Let me share some of these things. We'll go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
In this. So again, don't try to pay things off so that you don't spend a lot in interest rates.
Yeah.
So try not to have a monthly credit card where you're paying 21, 22% interest. Okay. It's okay to build up your credit card expenses, but pay it off at the end of the month so you don't have to pay all the interest. But you might have a credit card that gives you air miles. Okay. That you are looking to spend, and purchase everything from that credit card, pay it off at the end of the month, you get the air miles, then you can take free flights.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a savings that's there. So I'm not saying don't have a credit card. I'm saying have a credit card, but try to pay it off at the end of each month where you can collect the miles and then you can take free flights. That's kind of a win-win.
Correct.
That's there. Don't have a high, mortgage rate. Everybody wants to purchase a home, I think. And to purchase a home when the interest rates are lower, because interest rates that are 2.9%, versus 7 or 8%, we're talking thousands of dollars difference per month.
Right.
So timing is everything when you're talking about finances and things like that. So we always say, if you don't have the money,
don't get it.
Then don't get it at that time. So, try to save more so you can you can buy things with
because I think we're
cash.
in a society that we want it and we want it now and we have to have it, and we see something on a reel or we see it on TV, and then like all of a sudden we need this special face lotion, or we need it's marketing has gotten so good over these last few years, and we used to back in the days we said we would wait a week. If there was something we wanted, we would wait a week. If it was a big ticket item, we would wait 30 days.
Yes.
And did we still have that same excitement, that same in 30 days, or was it something we're like, we really didn't need it?
Yeah.
Because like impulse is
really, it is. It's a real thing.
Take over. So
and what comes with those things? You buy a car. What comes with it? Taxes,
payment,
tags, insurance. You buy a boat. Same things, taxes, tags, insurance.
And then what comes with that is stress. Because then if you have a monthly payment, or you have, monthly payments are sometimes necessary.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, and we say, double up a payment, pay it off, because there's nothing that feels any better than having a house payment, having a car payment, and paying it off.
Absolutely.
Because it does bring stress. And then it's like, oh, my car payment's coming, if things are tight. Like I said, you make different decisions, especially as an entrepreneur. Like entrepreneurship is risky. There is risk involved. And if you can eliminate a lot of the things that brings you stress, monthly bills, like just look at your finances. So that's my advice to anybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or work at a normal.
And one last thing, if you think about vehicles, you buy a vehicle, it's going to start depreciating as soon as you take it. As soon as you take it off the lot. So having a 5, 6, 7 year, automobile payment, with insurance and taxes and all those things, I would say, focus more on your home.
100%.
Because your home typically goes up in value. It keeps it or goes up in value. You pay that off, then you have more flexibility because you have equity in the house. So you get a lot more flexibility when it comes to that. So
cars are a horrible, they're not even an investment. It's a purchase.
Yes.
Because there's no car since we've been married. I mean, we've always had nice cars, but none of them are worth more than they were when we bought them. And most of them probably are just worth a couple thousand. I mean, the ones we have now, but
unless you keep it for 40 years and it's in great shape.
But even still, it's like, what if that's probably not even going to be a thing? That's a thing now.
Yes.
Because people make it a thing.
Yes.
But that's mine and your advice is just whatever you get, pay for it in cash if you can. If you can't, knock the payments down faster than you need to. So I say that's a good spot for us to end this episode. What do you think? I think so. Well, thank you for joining. I'm like, which camera? That one. Blooper. I know it's you know what, it's unscripted with JJ and Jamie. What do you expect? But thank you for joining us for another episode of Unscripted with JJ and Jamie.